Hello you guys, if you haven't, please like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into this video of Quiet on Set. This has completely taken over, and the whole thing is just insane, and I think it's also really hard or really devastating just based on what happens, but also we grew up loving these children, and these kids have given us our childhood, so we do feel some type of closeness and connection toward these kids that have been meant so much to us in our childhood. So it started off with Dan Schneider, who's the creator of all these shows that we have loved, from All That, The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, all the way up to Henry Danger. And he has just worked his way up, and he got on All That, and from that, and there were already some people from All That talking about how Dan has made it a very uncomfortable environment for them, in the sense of making how he would have people massage. Oh Jesus! He would have people massage him and do all these things that would make him uncomfortable. But when you're working with people in power, and you got to think, these kids have been working and doing all these things, and they finally get that their dream has come true on a kids show, so that way they're having fun doing these funny little things, and they're around these other kids, so it's just a dream job that you dreamed of, and you're finally also making money. They're being the breadwinner for a lot of their families and hoping to get their family out of the ghetto, or help get their family a better life that they have always dreamed of. So it's just a dream come true of the fact of what they're able to get. So they don't want to make Dan Schneider, who is their creator boss, the person that's giving them everything they dreamed of, they don't want to make him mad at us. They want them to love him, and in hopes also, knowing that he's the creator and creators who can create shows, of hopefully getting a spin-off. So from All That, Amanda Bison, who everybody knows and loves, especially during that time period of being that she was so pretty, funny, loving, like just very bubbly girl. And from All That, she got her spinoff on The Amanda Show, and still there are so many uncomfortable moments. And we also got the behind the scenes of the writers, of how there's a group of writers, and they got two female writers who ended up sharing a salary, which is already against the law of what you're meant to do. You're not meant to split salaries. So they were getting 2 for 1. 2 women to do the job of 1 salary. They're splitting it, but this is all just a dream, to be able to get in the writing room, especially in that time then for females, to be in the writing room for a comedy show. So they're in the room, they're splitting salary, and they're feeling uncomfortable of Dan making it known that there's a separation between them and the males in the room, and would just make them uncomfortable, and things that he would say that would be inappropriate to them, and all these different things. And so now they're on the Amanda Show, and there are now footage of now that have been re-looked at of like Dan and Amanda in a hot tub together, of just things that are inappropriate. And back then, from a kid's point of view, you may have thought of them as funny or whatever, but when you're an adult and you're seeing the situation, it needs to be seen as, okay, are we crossing a line? And there was no line. It's just funny, like it's making people laugh. What it is indirectly doing something, and it's just inappropriate. And so now the women are getting inappropriate, and the rule was back then that a parent was allowed on set, but a parent doesn't fully want to say, hey, that might have been inappropriate, I don't like that my kid is doing that. They talk about, when mom talks about how her kid was in the suit and it looked like it has some inappropriate things on it, but you have a line of, I don't want to seem like the dad to be stay in your place, or you don't want to cross a line and then make it known that you're the problem, and now you may get your kid offset, and ultimately that's kind of what she did, and because he didn't get a call back for the next season, and that they talk about how that kind of did strain at that time period their relationship. So it is so sad how all these things have took place and nobody really said anything, and it's all comfortable until it's not. It's all funny, it's all lovable until it's not, and that should never happen in a place with children, but that should never happen in a place with children, period. That is also something that takes place in a lot of workplaces of, it's comfortable till it's not. We're laughing, whatever, we're in a conversation, and it just gets it's comfortable until it's not. And we need to make sure that there is space, boundaries, they are being known, and everybody has an eye on everything, because nobody should be put in a position where they should feel afraid or nervous in a workplace. That is just absolutely not, and thank God we're doing better about it. There are definitely ways, definitely needs to be improvements in a lot of these workplaces, but that is good. We're doing better at it, and we also need be better at seeing things that are like, don't do that. And should be able to have people in high positions be able to speak up for themselves, and also any employers under them of seeing any inappropriate behavior, because one step just leads to multiple steps. And that is when we come to the sad story that was all around quiet on set, was Drake Bell, who was on the Amanda Show and played a big part of the Amanda Show, and then got his own spinoff of Drake and Josh. And well, first of all, the first problem was, so before the person that sexually abused Drake Bell was Brian Peck, who was a producer on set. There was an incident before him on the Amanda Show where somebody got arrested for, I don't remember what exactly he got arrested for, but basically just child pornography and things of those nature. Because and there was one mom who was speaking about it, because her daughter was a background, or maybe had one or two lines, but she was on set, and there was this assistant guy who would basically direct children from one place to another, where it was time for them to go to break room, schooling if they had for school, and would direct parents and would talk to the parents. And he was just kind of always around, just being an assistant, and he would get their emails and numbers, and the child's emails and number, would email the kids and say, hey, or how'd you feel about set? If you ever need anything, let me know. Just being nice and caring and just following up. Seems like he was just following up. And then she said maybe a month or a couple months later, she would see that they would still be emailing, and then would find later that he sent her inappropriate pictures of himself. And mind you, she's like 7. And then she said a few months later, they got a call that he has been arrested and he has worked on set, and that he would write about his day and how he felt temptations to do things to these girls, and found bags with these little girls' underwear in them, and would have their names on it, and she was one of the girls with the names on it. And they arrested him, and the set, the Amanda Show and Nickelodeon all together really didn't do anything about it, just kind of swept it under the rug. They said, oh, he's been arrested for this, let's move on with the show. And here's my thing about it. They just could not have cared, because first, I feel like If a boss doesn't care, that means he has his own inappropriate, I personally believe. And there's just something sneaky going on, and if there's one, there's probably more. So that happened beforehand. So there already should have been suspicions, red flags being raised, more backgrounds and things like that. Now the person that did sexually abuse Drake Bell did not have any previous records of anything, but that guy before him did. So, and that's what Dan has said, is that he did not have, or people say, well, for Dan, that he did not have any records beforehand. But anyways, so now we're getting into Brian Peck, which is the man's name that molested Drake Bell. Brian Peck was just, well, he's gay, and Drake Bell's dad was on set, and this is during the Amanda Show, before Drake and Josh. The Amanda Show, and Drake's dad was, you know, his parent, legal guardian, parent that was just watching over him, and Drake's parents are separated, or divorced, and noticed some things about Brian Peck, of how he would just linger, put hands down the like, be a little touchy, and it was all, you know, whatever. And Brian Peck was just, you know, you get more and more comfortable saying certain things. Maybe, okay, I can touch, you know, you get more and more comfortable. And then you put into Drake's head that his dad's out to get him with his money and all this stuff, and his dad was not, and Drake has said that, like, my dad was not. And he ended up wanting to be with his mom. His mom took over, and, you know, all this stuff going on and back and forth. His mom's now stepping in, and now Brian Peck is now offering to help his mom and take him to and from class, and he lived an hour away, and he was like, Brian Peck was like, you know, instead of driving you back, it's late at night from these late auditions, why don't you stay at my house? And then that's where things started getting bad, of basically Drake saying, what you think of sexual abuse, think about when you think of what happened to me. And this is a big thing of what I would like to talk about, how it all got caught or came to light, was he was at his girlfriend's house, and he kept calling and calling and calling and calling, and his girlfriend at the time, mom, said, something's not right, tell me what's going on, are you okay? And she said, this is not normal behavior for him just to be like that. No, something is going on. Took him to a therapist, and, you know, more and more he talked with the therapist, and then he got on the phone with his mom, and just, he doesn't know what came over him, but after some time he let it all just come out of what happened to him. They got the police involved, and they got him arrested. And the system failed him as of Nickelodeon, the people on set, of just not catching on to the inappropriate behavior. That's why it's important for first of all, it's important for anybody to feel comfortable to speak up, but it's also important for people around to speak up when they see something that they should not, or feel like that's not fully right, that's too much. Because Drake has said he has spent a lot of time around me. Oh, it's back on. Drake has been caught saying it's been known that, you know, he spends a lot of time around me, would do whatever it took to come to my shows, drive them, whatever. So you see that this man is being really close to this child. But I think it also was a game changer of how Drake Bell's girlfriend at the time, mom, was very important in saying and noticing the signs of something is off, something is not right. And being able to speak up and see the signs. I know it seems very obvious of a sign, but a lot of the times of what we do is sweep things over the rug instead of really saying, okay, what is going on? Because abuse is more common than we realize. We think it's just in these movies and these stories and these news articles, when really it's going on so much around you. And it could be the people that you don't even think is doing it. Like, no way, because that's what people thought about Brian Peck. They thought there's no way that he is doing this. There's just no way. I can't believe it. And when they were going through the trials and arrest and things like that, he got from celebrities support letters of he was being tempted. There's just no way this was seen. He was being tempted so much that he just had no choice. And that is ridiculous when you're talking about a minor. A minor, you could be 18 and up, and this child could be 15, 16, 17 and walk around naked or whatever. You do not do nothing. There's no, like, and it's ridiculous that that was even brought up. But, so do not, nobody is above any sort of breaking of the law or sin. Nobody's above it. It's all within our capabilities. So nobody needs to be put above it. And Drake got through that and he got his own spin-off show, but that still has affected him, and it's shown the show where he dealt with substance abuse and all these different types of abuse, and even, I don't even know how far, but even gotten into a situation with a minor, and it's known. And Brian Peck, I have no idea, this is just me thinking, was probably molested or something as a kid himself, but it's known that molesters, kids who've been molested are more likely to become molesters as they get older. I don't think Drake was a molester. I think he just talked to him, but I don't know. It really didn't get in too much into Drake Bell. But that happened to Drake, and there's still so many videos, and he went to jail, and Brian Peck went to jail. He went to jail for over a year, and then he came back out and worked on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. That is absolutely ridiculous. And I think what Brian Peck used as a say for it was, it all got figured out. I figured it out. And he just started working. And it's just all such a big money of wanting to do the best way they can to get the most money that they can. And I don't know how that industry, there's been more public support for people that are going through this abuse, but still, I have no words for that. And it's still going as he worked on Victorious and iCarly and I think Zoe 101, there has been things that were inappropriate on the show of Ariana, and these YouTube videos of things that were just so inappropriate, these inappropriate innuendos of jokes that were being made on, and especially now looking back, you don't think of it much as a kid, but the women writers, they've even said, like, we're just gonna make that joke and nobody's even gonna, like, they got the dirty joke, but like, nobody's gonna get it because it's not direct. And this is all so sad about how it played out. And Dan, as he kept going on to make the show, it was kind of known that he had his favorites and who weren't. And either way, like, if you weren't his favorite, it was going to be known. You weren't really going to get that. Because he wrote the lines, he wrote it all. He had the power to make you liked or not, and popularity and things like that, of how much he wanted to really invest in you. If you weren't his favorite, he didn't really invest in you, so you didn't get to experience the popularity and things of that, but maybe that his favorites did. But if you were his favorite, you felt the most uncomfortable because he was always hugging you, would make you do more inappropriate scenes or different things like that. So these kids were completely just in these very toxic environments that affect them for the rest of their lives ultimately. And some have more than others because they still got their personal lives to deal with. Of Jeanette McCurdy and the terrible things that she had to go through personally. And meanwhile, she's on the TV in this toxic work environment, but she's making Jeanette McCurdy, Sam Puckett is one of my favorite characters. I think that is such a good character. She played it beautifully. I think she is an amazing actress. But I think she turned out great for all the things that have happened to her. And I just hate how her personal and work environment was all, and treated her terrible. And Drake Bell, how he just got treated however instead of a kid on these shows. So I think it's important that we do better work. And I think it also needs to be a sign that, yes, TV, but as a whole, work environments just need to be better. And we need to do better standpoints of protecting our children and people, but especially children, but people in work environments, make sure they feel safe and they have boundaries and they're not just peeing like trash. Because if the person in power is treating people like trash, there's not much more you can do. And these parents having to stay silent, it was all just so awful. And I really just want to say thank you, but also apologize to these kids that were on this set. But I would like to get y'all's opinion of what y'all think about Quiet on Set, the documentary, because it was crazy. And some people don't even say bad things about Dan Schneider. Like Drake has been on record saying Dan called, checked up on him. And that's how even you know. Once this thing came out, not all the people on set, because it was a secret. Nobody publicly knew because it was anonymous on the papers of who the child actor was. And Dan said, is it you? Because they knew he was the one spending the most time with, if it was going to be somebody. So if you already know, I could see it. Hello. Let's wake up. And so there has been people on record saying that Dan made him feel completely uncomfortable, toxic environment. There's even videos of, we love Jerry Trainer stand. There's been video of Jerry Trainer, separating Carly from Dan, or just, he saw how Dan was inappropriate and was trying to separate, as much as he could of him getting a hug. Like he would just maybe go jump in front of Dan, do things like that, which we love to see somebody, trying to help these kids. But some people have gone on record saying Dan was really good to them and had no problem with them. And others were traumatized by him, very scared of him. And Dan has been on record to apologize and but I mean, you're always gonna apologize once you get caught. So hopefully it's for real, but we need to do better checks on people before we just hire them. So that's a main thing. We don't need behind no child molester. Like, I mean, you think it's obvious, but when it comes to dollar signs, it's not. So here and there with Dan, but he definitely when you have your favorites, because if you're not one of the favorites, but you're just on the show and he's not really paying too much attention to you, but you're already on your show and he's not really thinking twice, you're not gonna really think. And I feel personally, if you were a boy, because they said on how he was known as this fat kid, so he kind of liked the idea of this pretty girl, like these pretty young girls, these it girls of the time, really just loving on him. And so I think if you were kind of a male on the show, Dan really didn't, probably treated you as such, of what you were, of his employee, cast on the show. I think he liked the idea of these young girls liking him. So we just need to do better all together and have people be able to speak up when they see something wrong or if they feel uncomfortable. That is the main thing we need to do. We do not need to have people going through this stuff just because scared, didn't speak up, or we didn't see the signs, or take the time out to realize what are we seeing right now. So don't be scared to ever speak up. Look at your resources, see the laws, see what is right, to speak up. I'm with you, I'm here for you. I don't want to see nobody go through this. Nobody needs to be scared, because when you are scared, it does so much to you internally. Do not do this to yourself, please. It will break you inside. Thank you guys for watching. Go watch Quiet on Set. It is something really good, and I think something we just need to all learn from. And these kids, like Drake spoke up, and every year later when Brian Peck got out, he was back in work. We don't need nobody to feel like we just did this for nothing. We just did this and it still meant nothing. No. When people speak up, we need to listen and give them the rightful consequences. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.